Welcome everyone, this is Jennifer.
Hey, and it's Trevor, and welcome to our Elementary June Professional Learning Day. Thank you for being here with us, and we're having fun with this video. We'll probably make many mistakes, but just laugh at us and go with it. And we also know that Amy has moved on to the high school, and we're very excited and happy for her. We will miss her, we love her, but we have Captain America here in her presence, so she's here in spirits, and we wish her all the best.
Yes, and we also just wanted to take a moment to give you a big shout out and thank you. You guys have just been amazing through all of this. This has just been a year like no other, and you just stepped up to the plate, did what you needed to do throughout this whole process, and we could have not asked for you to do it any better than you did. In fact, you went above and beyond, all of you. And so we just really thank you for that and are proud of the work that you did for our kids this semester, and just very proud of you. So thank you for all your hard work on that.
Yes.
Okay, this video is going to be about the plan for today and for Monday. So you know, and we're all hearing the exact same thing at the same time as we do this work in a very unusual way. Since we can't all be together, we're gonna have to do this in a hybrid method. So we thought this is the best way for us to share what we need to share and have everyone hear the same thing at the same time. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the why of PLCs and essential learning standards.
I've already heard this. What the whys of PLC? I've heard it over and over again. I know the why.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It's okay, because guess what? That is all PLCs are about. It is about coming back to the why. It's about a process as we go through this cycle of PLCs. And yes, we have to go over the why over and over and over again because it starts over. We're starting a new year. We're going to look at our essential learning standards. We're going to look at our process. All of those things have to be addressed every single year so that we are all on the same page and we're doing the work together as a system for our kids. So you're going to watch this together so you can hear that same message. And at the very end of this video, we'll have the exact instructions of what you need to do the next 2 days to get the work that we need done.
Absolutely. And I know it'll be said later on, but if there's any slides that you guys see that have a lot of information on it and you'd like to pause it and just kind of take a chance to read it, it would be great. So let's jump into this just to refresh our memories and revisit our mission, vision, and values. Our mission for the Escada School District is to equip every student with the knowledge and skills necessary to be resourceful and successful. For our vision, basically by the year 2030, we want to be the collaborative organization that is a leader in the state of Oregon. And our values, from day one moving forward always is inspiration, engagement, and achievement. So again, if you need to take an opportunity to pause and look at those and read again, feel free to do that at any time.
Okay, the 3 big ideas of PLC. I know you've heard this again, but it's really important we come back to it as we start to look at our plans for in the fall, because these are the things that don't change. So number 1, that focus on learning, ensuring high levels of learning for all our students. What do we want them to learn? How do we know they've learned it? What do we do when they don't get it? And what do we do if they already know it? Those are super important pieces to the work that we do. The second piece is building that collaborative culture. I think we saw that more than ever during this virtual school,
Sure.
How important that collaborative piece is. And the great thing that came out of this is how much time we got to collaborate because our schedules were different. But as we go back into hopefully a more traditional setting, we have to have that collaborative culture among our peers and colleagues as we work, and then with our students and with our families, that collaborative culture is key. The other piece is focusing on results. So we're always looking at our data. We're using that data to drive our instruction. All those things are really important to keep as the focus of the work that we're doing.
And as Jen just read our 4 guiding questions, what is it that we want our students to know and be able to do? How will we know that each student has learned it? How will we respond if they haven't learned it? And how will we respond if they already know it? And one piece I'd like to add in there too is on this slide, you can see this again is our process, but I also want to add in that, after you provide, after you've looked at all the data, now it's time to provide some interventions or enrichments. What we want to do is to be able to provide that, then reassess the students, and then for us to really look and see and evaluate how effective were our interventions. Did our interventions work? Did it get the kids to mastery level of the essential learning standards or not? And so again, those guiding 4 questions are simple. It's a cycle, so continue to work through that, but add that piece into that after you've provided the interventions, reassess the students and then see how your interventions worked.
Okay, there is a lot in the next 2 slides, so I'm definitely not going to read this word for word, but we'll give you a moment to read through it. So this is the tight and loose. This is kind of those set expectations, right? So the tight are the things that we need to all be doing exactly the same way because it is just crucial to our system being successful. And so we'll go through the tights of our PLC process, and then the loose are the areas that we want to empower you to make decisions, whether that's as a collaborative PLC team or you individually as a teacher in the classroom. And I think clear is kind, that we like to say, that the more explicit we are on those tights and loose, the better our system's going to be, especially for our situation as we take 2 different school buildings and bring them together. This tight and loose is just crucial to our success. So when we look at the tight, we'll just pause here for a minute and you guys can kind of read through that as a PLC team to talk about what's tight. And please do read through it because it is every single numbered piece on this is very important to the whole process. And then, like I said before, when we look at the loose piece, there's a loose to you as a PLC team when you're talking about, creating your norms and your SMART goals, all of those things. But then there's that also loose piece to you as an individual teacher and what happens in the classroom while still fitting into the tight system that we have to have. When we look at all of these, it's just so important that we're working together as a collaborative team and following these because in the end, it's all about our students and making sure that they have the best opportunity to learn through this process.
And I'd just like to highlight the very last sentence on that entire slide there. It says, they, meaning our teachers, you guys, the professionals, learn together in a constant effort to improve our effectiveness in helping all students learn. And so that's just a key sentence I think is important.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said about those last 2 slides, please take the time to read through them and really know them because those are crucial to our PLC process. But when we're looking at the whole year, kind of the expectations for the whole year, this is not something we're doing in the next 2 days. This is our whole year PLC process, right? You're establishing team norms. You're evaluating student data, you're setting team goals, you're going to identify the essential learning standards. And when we say 6 to 10 per year, obviously we know that's going to look different at different grade levels and different content areas, all of that. But that's where that guaranteed and viable curriculum comes in. So we're identifying the learning targets in each essential learning standard. It's in student-friendly language. You're creating a scope and sequence for the year. A really important part is that backwards planning. When you are working on a specific essential learning standard, developing common formative assessments, collecting and analyzing data from those assessments, learning from one another what is working. That is a critical piece to that collaborative culture. is that conversation after you've collected that data and say, wow, Trevor, your class did so well on this. What are you doing in the classroom? What practice did you use that your kids understood? And you're learning from each other and having that self-reflection. And then taking that back to your classroom and reteaching that, providing the interventions, and providing the enrichment based on that data and those conversations that you've learned from each other. That is pretty much that whole process of cycle that we talked about earlier that happens throughout the year.
And those two, or that slide right there, those two boxes, it looks like there's a lot on there and it might be overwhelming, but as Jen said, this is what we are doing throughout the entire year. And we have been doing this over the last few years, and that's why we want to revisit it to make sure we stay on that track. All right, and so in this slide here, why are we identifying the essential learning standards? Well, because we've said that we're going to guarantee them and they're going to be viable. And so you can read what guaranteed and viable means, but if you're looking just at the target, it's a great visual for us to narrow down and to identify the essential learning standards that are at the core, meaning the center of that target, the core of our PLC and our year. And then all the other standards could fit into the important or nice to know, but our main focus is that middle of that target, the essential standards. And if those are being met and you're getting mastery on those and stuff like that, that provides you with a little bit of time that you might be able to go and visit some of that important or nice to know. But we've got to remain focused in the middle of that target because that's where the bulk of our work is going to happen. Anything else on that one? Or?
No, just reiterating that those essential standards, those are the ones that we're going to go through that PLC process with. Those are the ones that you're creating common formatives at. Those are the ones that you're analyzing the data on. The important and nice to know, you can use those in your enrichment time if you need, or when you have different opportunities, like say you finished a standard and your students reached mastery on that before your PLC team decided to move on in your scope and sequence. That would be a great time to fill in with those important standards or nice to know standards.
Great point. And how are we determine our essential learning standards? We want to identify the essential learning standards that will provide us with the most endurance, leverage, and readiness. And so I'll go back to that there. Endurance is the standards that will provide students with the knowledge and skills beyond a single test date. So you have to ask yourself, is the standard fitting into that category? Leverage, will the standard provide knowledge and skills that are of value in multiple disciplines? And then obviously readiness for the next level, is it going to provide the students with the essential knowledge and skills that are necessary to build their success in the next grade level? And so as you identify and you narrow down the center of that target, make sure that your essential learning standards are fitting into that where they provide endurance, leverage, and readiness for your students.
Okay, now begins kind of what the plan is. So for today, obviously you're watching this video with your team. We shared the document that has the link for that, and then there's also a link for some reflection questions. So today you're working with your current PLC team. We'd like you to reflect on the year and answer the questions in that document. We'd also like you to start with the flashback. So what that is because of our current situation, right? We are going to have a whole handful of kids that have some major gaps because of COVID. And with that, we want the team that will have these kids next year to know where you think there are those gaps. So we're going to have today's work with your current PLC be about the flashback. So you are the current teachers, and we want you to take no more than 3 essential learning standards for ELA and math and fill in the document saying that these are the essential standards we are most concerned about our students struggling with for next year. And we also want you to add the proficiency level. So by that I mean, if you are a first grade teacher and you're saying that you're worried about, let's see, a standard could be place value for your current students, because as a first grade team district-wide, not by teacher, not by school, but district-wide, all first grade students are at what proficiency level? So we're worried about place value because all first grade students right now are at 57% proficient, right? Clearly that's a concern. So in the 3 standards that you pick in the flashback, you are saying that these are the 3 we really think that you, when you have the opportunity to fill in some holes in the fall, these are ones we want you to focus on, and here's the data to prove that. And that's that percent proficient. So you'll do 3 for ELA, 3 for math, and then we'd also like our case managers or our EL teachers or anyone along to have an opportunity to put some things in there too. Now, it doesn't have to mean that all students with an IEP are struggling, but maybe there's at least a couple of kids in first grade that are on IEPs and you're really concerned because they did not meet the standard at all. Go ahead and plug those in. We just wanted you to have a place to be able to put that in if you're concerned, and we can talk through that. For Monday's work, you are going to do the flash forward. So you are going to work with next year's PLC team. And what we mean by that is with CRE looping and some people changing in positions and grade levels, we want you to meet with where you're going to be for next year. And you're going to fill out that flash forward. So you're going to look at what the team did today on the flashback, and you're going to help that drive your conversation around the ELSs that you want for the fall. And so we'd like you to put those in there so we can all see it in the same document and know where that is and what that looks like, and maybe some skills or things that you need to make sure happen to be able to fill in the gaps and have our kids ready to go. So we have linked in the matrix for this year so that you can see what it was that you had for your essential learnings. And then we also linked in the new document for next year. So as you do your flash forward and kind of work through that activity, and once you feel like you're finalized on, you know what, these are the essential standards we want for next year based on the flashback and working through the flash forward, you can then plug that into the 2021 matrix. And once that is done, your work is pretty much complete for the next 2 days.
Yep.
So those are the main things that we need you to get done in the next 2 days. Once that's done, you can let Trevor and I know, and we will walk through it if we haven't already walked through it with you, ask any questions if we have them. So you're going to be working through some different, so if you're a first grade teacher, you're going to be looking at the kindergarten flashbacks, and then you're going to look at the first grade. So make sure you're putting your information in the right area too. But Trevor and I are here, available at any time. Call us, email us. We'll be at CRE for the people who have decided to be in the building. But this is kind of a new process, something new. We've been learning as we go, and so we can answer questions as they come up. But we really want to do this activity to really force the conversation around what is it we're worried about fulfilling, but also still focusing on the importance of teaching grade level standards. So if you're going into 4th grade, you're still receiving 4th grade learning standards, but we're going to try and fill these holes that you missed from 3rd grade. And hopefully this activity will help drive those conversations and help you in your planning process.
All right, I think that's it.
Okay.
No, I'd just like to again say thank you to everybody for all your work, and hopefully you had a chance to, I think at one time, sometime this week, we were playing a video for you that, 2020 tried to break you, but it didn't. And as Jen said so well at the beginning of this video, your guys' resiliency and teamwork and hard effort is just to be commended, and it is going to pay off. These kids are going to be just incredible kids in the future because of all the work you guys are doing. So hope this is valuable to you guys, and please just have a great day. And again, we're here to help, so just let us know if you need anything.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, wait, it's still recording.